Okay, for the unit essay exams, we want to really make sure we understand what is expected here, given that it is collectively 50% of your grade. So roughly each one is going to be 17, perhaps 18% of your grade. Do the math on your own. Just want to make sure you're aware of what each one is worth. Um, if it's late, you can submit it after its due date, unlike the quizzes, but each day it's late, it will be deducted by 5%. They can be accessed and submitted through Blackboard. So let's get that out of the way real quick. There's one thing that I like to point out to students. You submit it by either clicking here, Write Submission, or browsing computer and uploading it from there. Please do not write your submission in the comments section. Please do not do that. If you do that, I can't grade your assignment. And so what will happen is, if I see comments in there, to get your attention, I will give you a 0 for the essay exam. If you submit it, if you catch it and submit it correctly through its proper channels, again, either through here, copy paste, put it in here, or browse my computer and upload it. By the due date, you won't be penalized, but if you aren't able to resubmit it through the proper channels, you will be penalized 5% each day. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, the thing you want to be aware of is how to prepare for these. And the first step you want to do is to open up each link. And you want to be aware of the essay prompt. So the essay prompt, you want to physically write down. So you have to do it for your orientation exam. That's how you get credit for your orientation exam. And you want to do this for each of the unit essay prompts. So click that, open that up. All right. Write down the prompt. Prompt is available right here. Right. And do that also for the Unit 3 exam. Take note of the due dates and make sure that you understand when each one is due. Now, other thing you want to do to make sure you understand is that the response to this is analytical. And it comes from your preparation for the learning objective responses. However, now please take note of this, because this is a mistake a lot of students make. Students who don't take note of this will usually copy and paste their learning objective responses and piece them together for this particular essay. That will not be a sufficient response to this essay prompt. The learning objective prompts are there to give you the basic rote information and narrative for U.S. history, so that you have the information to respond to a very complex and even nuanced response to this particular essay prompt. So what I suggest doing is, as you come across information within the assigned material, and again, it has to come from the assigned material. It cannot come from outside sources. It must come from Units 1, 2, or 3, or any other suggested reading or video for this course. As you come across any information that helps you respond to this particular essay prompt, write it down on one side of a 3x5 index card. And on the other side, I'll provide also another video that gives you specific instructions on what I'm getting at here, so you can have a visual of it. On the other side, you want to write down where you got it from. So in this case, you're getting the information from a particular chapter and learning objective. So if you get information from, let's say, going over here, so you get some information that helps you respond to what an in and out group is and how it shaped colonial America and all of that from Learning Objective 2, Chapter 2. You want to write that down on the other side. When you have a collection of index cards, maybe by the end of this unit you might have 20 to 30. This will give you the opportunity to lay them out on a desk or a table and to organize them. and not have to go back specifically to the material. And what you're writing on one side, it could be a direct quote, it could be a paraphrase of some information that you learned, a date, a battle, whatever the case is. Write it down. And that will prevent you from having to go through all of the material again, reading it again, going through it, and going through that unnecessary stress of trying to figure out how to organize it at the last minute. If you have it laid out in a medium that you can see with 20 to perhaps 30 cards, maybe even more, you can identify how it is you're going to organize, what to include, and perhaps what to edit even before you begin the writing process of sitting down with your Word document and typing away. A lot of students ignore that advice. The students that do take up that advice find that they are able to approach essays in a lot more relaxed fashion. So I will have an additional video that's been produced by a different instructor that gives you a good visuals on what it is exactly I'm talking about here. Please take this advice. It will be quite helpful to you. But make sure you are, at the very least, responding specifically to the essay prompt. The sources, again, they must come from the assigned material. So for this particular essay, Unit 1, it's coming from Unit 1 materials, Chapters 1 through 4, using what is referred to as Chicago-Turabian. Please don't overthink it. Just follow the examples that are provided here. So click the link and go through the examples. Most of your information is going to come from websites, right? So this is a website right here. It's skennedyushistory.com. That's the name of the website. So click here, and this will give you examples and information on how to do that. If this isn't helpful to you, again, don't overthink it. Use the resources that are available to you, and simply type in a Google search engine how to cite in footnote, because that's what you're doing. You're footnoting this information. A website using Chicago-Turabian. So use the resources that are available to you in doing that. The other thing you're going to cite are primary sources. Primary sources are sources that come from the historical time in which you're studying for. So let's just click this link here. So for instance, John Winthrop's Dream of a City on a Hill, if this is helpful to you in preparing your essay, you can use this. There's plenty of other examples you can use, though. You can go to this one here, right? It doesn't really matter. Journals of Christopher Columbus. And write down whatever quote it is that you're using from this particular spot. But you need to use at least 2 of those per unit essay exam. A primary source. The others are what are referred to as secondary sources. So let's see, is there anything else that we need to include in this? Yeah, make sure you don't plagiarize. We went over that during the syllabus. If you plagiarize, you will earn a failing grade for the semester, so please don't do that. Each essay, the length of it is indicated in the instructions in each specific link that's provided in the syllabus. And these links are also linked in Blackboard as well. So please take note of that. And I think that's about it. How long? Yes. How do you prepare? Yep. And again, do not use outside material. Use the material assigned in this course. The assigned material, suggested material, and primary sources only. Outside sources could earn you a 0 for the particular assignment, so please don't do that. Okay, other than that, that's about all I have. Please make sure you finish your orientation exam by tomorrow or by July 13th. That would be Wednesday by midnight. If you don't successfully complete it, you will be dropped from the course. So please, please, please jump into this course. It's only 5 weeks long. That is why I am pushing this strong sense of urgency, so you understand the basic expectations of this course. Email me if you do have any questions or concerns. I will get back to you within 24 hours. If I don't, please email me again. Talk to you later.
Note cards are a part of the research writing process that a lot of students want to avoid. You'd much rather dig through your material, hope it shows up, type up all your notes as you read them. But trust me, note cards are the one thing that's going to make writing this paper so much easier. Because once you have your notes on a card, you can sort them into the organization the paper actually needs, and you will have a much better organized paper. What happens otherwise is that we get basically a paper written by source. Here's this source, here's this information, here's the next source, here's that information. And when you do that, your organization of your paper falls apart. So I'm highly recommending note cards. That's why you're required to turn some in. So what about note cards? First, all source material should be documented in a note card. So whether it's a quote or paraphrase or summary, if you got it from reading, it's got to go on a card. One idea per card, even if it's just a statistic. One idea per card. So don't cram that card full of information. One idea. On that card, you need to identify the source and the exact page number if it's a physical source. You don't need a page number if it's something you got off the internet. And then you want to indicate, if you're doing different kinds of cards, which type of card you're using. Some people only do quote cards, then you don't need to indicate. But if it's some quotes and some paraphrase and some summary, make sure that you write a note to yourself over which kind of card it is, so that when you go back to use the information, you know how to cite it. So what's a paraphrase card? On that card, you're going to list the source, page number if you've got it, and you're going to paraphrase 2 or 3 sentences of which you've changed at least 50% of the words and any key phrases, as well as the sentence structure. So you've been doing these as part of our research quizzes. Now you're just doing them on the card. Easiest way to do a paraphrase card: read something, read a couple sentences, close the source, open up something else, and type down what you think it means. There's your paraphrase. Next kind of card, quote cards. Now, when I was a student, that's all I took. I figured I'll paraphrase later. Right now, I just need quotes. And so everything I took was a quote card. On it, you need your source and your page and the exact quote. At this point, don't edit it. Don't try to fix it. Just remember that you're still only doing one idea per card, so it's probably only a sentence or two. More than that, and you would have another quote card to fill out. So you could have all quote cards to start. That's fine. What would be a summary card? Suppose you read this passage, a couple paragraphs, the whole article, and really there's one good idea in it that's related to what you're writing about. You still got to cite it. So you give us the source, probably the page or pages that this information was on, and then sum up in a sentence or two the whole point, the key point of that article. That makes sense? So that's what you're making. A whole bunch of cards, and you're turning them in.